how much money is needed to visit the Philippines. Well, thanks for joining into our channel again today. Filipina is missing. It's just me. Let me know if this is okay. Is it okay with just me? Sometimes I have some thoughts and some ideas to share, and Filipina is not always around. I think today she was on a long trip celebrating a birthday with her son, and she was late getting back, so she was resting a little bit. Plus her son got injured along the way, so she's trying to spend some time to make sure he's okay as well. So I thought I'd take some time myself up on the roof to share some thoughts with the topic, how much money needed to visit to the Philippines. Of course, you need to, kind of figure out all the little sections involved in that. And of course, it's going to vary for each person, where you're coming from, what you're going to pick to stay, hotel or Airbnb or some apartment or something. So there's a lot of variation. So I can give you like a general idea. I can give you my experience, and then I can give you some stats. So between my experience and some statistics, it might give you a little idea to gauge how much is needed to visit. And that's really all you can go by. Just do your research, find out my idea, someone else's idea, and so on, and then compare, and you get a pretty good idea of how much is needed to visit, especially here in the Philippines. So of course, number one is your ticket to get here, and that's your plane flight. I came across a pretty good deal. I think I was traveling for two. Myself and my son were coming here, and we did with the throwaway ticket ID. You buy a ticket. Once you get here, you have another ticket ready to go to another place. So we did that way. Some people call that a throwaway ticket. And paying hours, I think it was around, because it's been a while now, almost a year. I think if memory serves me correct, it was between 2,200 to 2,500 Canadian. So that's a lot less, of course, in US money. You're looking at probably 25% less or something in US money. But that's how much it was in Canadian. So I guess that's anywhere from $1,800 on up in US for your airfare. So that might give you an idea, and of course you check out your airfare, but that's an idea. And then once we got here, of course, you need a place to stay. We went with the Airbnb option. Now if you got some contacts here, now that I've been here a while, for example, you can get a place like this here and rent a 2 apartment for 7,000 Philippine pesos, about 150 Canadian dollars. That's a little over 100 US dollars, maybe 110 US dollars. You could go that route, but then you're going to need to, get a few things for your empty apartment, like maybe a little fridge and a mat to lay on or something for your bed. But it's a pretty cheap way to go, and you got your own little apartment. Or what we did, get the Airbnb. We booked it for about a month. And again, you're looking through it, taking your time, and you're booking months ahead. You can get some pretty good deals. I think my deal for the whole month was around 850 Canadian dollars, maybe something like that for the month. And it was a nice Airbnb, not fantastic. It was okay, but it had what we needed. It had 2 rooms, a little tiny kitchenette, and with the refrigerator, nice swimming pool, which was really nice. Took advantage of that. I'd like to be there now at the swimming pool. I like that idea. It was very nice, actually. Two swimming pools in that one that we went to. We booked it in Davao. So that's the airplane flight, and then your Airbnb or an apartment. So that's a couple of suggestions there with some suggested amounts. Of course, while you're here, you need to eat. So you have to have your food budget again. It varies depending on what you want to do. High-end restaurants, McDonald's type meals. I'm kind of a burger and fries guy, or pretty low-cost meals. So I guess an average meal would be somewhere around maybe $6 to $10, maybe about $10 Canadian, about $6 or $6.50 US, something like that per meal, per person. So again, that might give you an idea. Multiply that by how many times you eat a day and how many people are eating. It gives you an idea. That's been my experience anyway while I'm here, making preparation, needing funds to visit the Philippines. Of course, you may, some extra spending money. That's of course, totally up to you. From some of the statistics I read, they say allow for, anywhere from $15 to $50 a day, depending on what you do with your money for extra spending, just for whatever, anywhere from 15 to 50 per day. So, that's kind of a wide range there. How much are you going to spend per day? Are you thrifty, or are you quite generous with your money? So again, depends, but it's kind of a ballpark figure to give you some ideas. From someone here, feet on the ground, we don't try to have too many extra expenditures, if any, just kind of needs, more or less. Once in a while, if we really like something or want to get something, well, we'll do it, because usually prices are generally pretty reasonable. So that takes care of your eating. And then what else is there? Some people drink alcohol. We don't do that, so I highly suggest don't do that. Your budget for alcohol is zero. I think some of the statistics I read, they say they average anywhere from $11 US on up per day. But I like our budget better for that, 0 per day, because it's not good for you anyway. That's my opinion there. Then I'll give you some statistics as well that I came across, so hang around for that too. Of course, maybe one of the things you may not always think about is your phone coverage, your cell phone coverage. When I first came here, or before I came here, I checked with my own local cell provider back home, and the prices are just astronomical if you want to use your regular home plan here. I think mine is, if I really wanted to use it, I could. They give me so-called deal of around 16 Canadian dollars per day if I want to use it per day. So I guess in the US, what would that be? About $12 US per day if I wanted to use my own cell phone bill back home. The regular plan, I should say, regular cell phone plan. Now, I still retain the very basics of my cell phone plan back home, because when I checked into it, and this is really good information, maybe you should check into yours as well. I'm not sure if yours works the same way, but when I checked into using mine, if I keep just a very basic plan back home, which is about, well, I guess I do pay about $16 a month, not a day, but $16 a month for my basic plan, I can receive for free any incoming texts. And that's all I really need it for over here, because I have, certain confirmation codes, like if I'm doing my banking and things like that, where you receive a confirmation code. So I get it received to my phone, don't have to pay extra, just basically it's kind of a straight fee of 16 Canadian dollars, about 12-ish US dollars per month, to make sure I keep all my, receivable texts in order. That's important. You really should get that lined up somehow, some way, to keep receiving your secret codes that you need for banking and so on, when you need those, or Amazon, whatever those codes are, going to your phone. So that's another fee to think about, and I would suggest keep retaining somehow with your phone back home for that. Also, then if you come here, you can get pretty cheap phone cards and things like that. You do basically have to sign up with your address and everything here. It can be a little complex first when you're getting here, but I think after you're here for a while with your address, it gets a lot easier, I think. So I've never actually done it. I've never actually set up with a phone plan here. So what I do, Mahal, Filipina, she has her phone plan, and I either connect to her hotspot, because we're always together for the most part, or I use a service here that I also pay monthly for. It's not here really, it's anywhere in the world. It's called Airalo, and I've been using it since I came here. I find it a real lifesaver. It's like, oh my goodness, well, you just got internet, very solid, anywhere you go, all the time, and it's a great backup at least, and using it for minimal use or whatnot. I use, and you can order different plans on that. I strongly suggest Airalo. If I remember, I'll put my code for Airalo in the link, and then if you click it, hey, I might get 10 cents or something. But in any case, even if you don't click my link, just check out Airalo. I have personally been using it since I got here. It's a great surety to know you have internet no matter what. And it's really good. It hasn't failed me, and I keep renewing it, different packages sometimes. I usually go with the cheap package of about, I think it's about 10 to 13 US dollars per month, and that gives me about, not a lot, maybe 3 gigs. I think 3 to 5 gigs, something like that per month, which is not a lot, but it covers you, you know, when you need it. It's there, and it's kind of like a little safety belt insurance, if you will, or whatnot. So that's something I recommend personally, is the airalo, and I faithfully use it, have used it. I set it up before it came, and that's what I suggest too, setting up airalo before you come, so then as soon as you land, you don't have to worry about trying to find and figure out the Philippine cell phone thing, which sometimes is a bit confusing, especially when you're new here. You got it immediately as soon as you get here. And with the airalo, of course, you can have it for any destination. So say if you're, like we had to stop off in Korea for a while, I could have had it lined up for Korea and use their internet there as well with a little package for a while if I wanted to. And it's like, it's just instantly ready for you at will. I can't say enough about airalo. I really like it. Anyway, I don't hear a lot of people talk about it. Some people do, but then they kind of say it in passing, but I really like it because I really use it. Anyway, that's another option that could be an expense for you. It is for me, about 13 US a month, and I keep that retained. And then again, if you do get local Wi-Fi, if you're here for any length of time, I think we're paying somewhere in the vicinity of maybe 50, 60 bucks. Something like that, 50 or 60 bucks. I think that's Canadian too, 50 or 60 bucks Canadian for our Wi-Fi. And we have like fiber here in Valencia City, Buchanan, and there's a tower right here too. So I don't know if that matters for the internet, but anyway, it does for the cell phone and the backup system we have. So, but yeah, it's pretty good. You get really high speeds. I get better speeds here than home. People sometimes complain about internet here, but I get better speeds here than home. Now, I guess where the complaints might come in is where, you know, your electricity fails. So, but even when the electricity fails, we bought a battery backup, so our internet usually keeps going. The internet usually, at least for us, doesn't go down. Once in a while, we've had a few problems or little mishaps with the internet, but generally, when the electricity goes down, the internet works as long as you got a battery backup. Plug in your router, and you're good to go. We do it all the time, and there's a lot of interruptions with the electricity lately. Anyway, so I'm just rambling, thinking about the different expenses, and these were a few digressions that are expenses and good safety tips too, backup tips if you want to use some of those. And another kind of indirect expense, some people can avoid it by the banking they use, but I can't because I don't have their kind of banking. So, but when you're using like your credit card or debit card, I only use my credit card over here. You have some monthly fees, which I figured out before I came. I'd made sure and added up how much it would roughly cost me with those fees. So I really suggest figuring all these fees and what you can out before you leave. I did that, and I was like, yeah, well, that's reasonable. It's a reasonable fee for using my credit card over here, so I'm okay with it. So I have that fee as well per month. Whenever I use my credit card, I have some fees on the end. Some people I hear say they use like Charles Schwab and things like that, and they get their fees back. So if you've got a banking system like that, which I think in Canada you may be able to with CIBC, get your fees back at the end of the month. I can't. So I have to take it on the chin and pay the money. That's another little fee along the way you may not really think about, but it's a fee when you come to visit here. And of course, getting around, traveling around, that's another big fee that you really want to consider. I shouldn't say big fee because it depends on how you travel around. It's probably not that big. If you go by taxi, it's usually a bit more expensive. But again, I'll throw in some of the statistics of what people say for travel. Based on our experience, we were at the beginning traveling mostly by taxi, and I think for our travels per ride, $5 to $10 a ride, maybe something like that. I'm not really sure, but maybe in that ball range. Again, I'll give you some statistics. I think one of the ones I read, they say around $21 a day for taxi if you keep using that, but I'm not so sure. But that's one of the statistics, I think. And then if you use those little rides, like you have motorcycle rides, trike rides, where you pay someone, basically, I think just a couple of bucks, depending on how far your ride is, you know, within like little rides around the city and stuff, maybe a couple of bucks per ride or something like that, or a buck per ride depending. Like from the Robinson Mall to home here, I think I had to pay 50 pesos, which is about $1 US, something like that. So not like extravagant or anything. The big bus rides, which are like the Greyhound buses, they're pretty cheap. We discussed on another video how you can ride, as an example, from here in Valencia City, Buganon, to CDO, Buganon, or not Buganon, CDO, wherever that is. It's a few hours away in travel, and it costs, I think, is only around $6 or something for the ride on that, the big comfortable air-conditioned bus, which is, like I said, comfortable. You get to sightsee a little as you're traveling. Nice view on the bus, comfortable. It's about $6, and that's like, I don't know, 3 or 4 hours. Could be even longer on that bus ride. So I thought that was a really good deal. So that's another cost. Think about the travel costs as you're here, how you're going to get around, how you'll pay. We got a car. That's a whole nother story in case you want to spend money on buying a car. But the gas here per tank, it's cheaper than what I was used to paying home. Per tank home, I would pay anywhere from $60 to $80 Canadian per tank. Here I'm paying about $40 per tank. So I'm just talking about general ways, not per liter and all that. I'm just going by the general ways that I remember paying. 60 to 80 per tank home and about $40 per tank here ish, maybe 45 sometimes. So these are some of the costs and some of the things you have to think about when calculating your needs for traveling, especially your needs for traveling from where you are to the Philippines. So how much money needed to visit? That's some of my general experiences, which I think that's what you really have to do, and that's what I looked for when I was home, just looking at people's experiences and then trying to figure out what my experience would be based on theirs. And I think it's a good way to do it. So that's some of my experience, and I'll try to throw in some statistics of what I found as well, which will give you what some other people say, because the statistics supposedly are based on real experiences, real money that people have spent. So they're calculated on that, those statistics are. So I'll try to throw in some of that. And between it all, hopefully it helps you in understanding. Some statistics: $15 for fast food prices per day. Accommodation, local transportation, food, entertainment, tips and handouts. 2-week trip analysis by a general consensus. Again, feel free to freeze frame some of these for some of the stats. Hopefully, Wellamall will be on our next video, and talking about something else. We have a lot of different channels, of course. I hope you get to check them out. You can find them all at the one website, beautifulbabylove.com. That's beautifulbabylove.com. You'll see all our channels. We really would appreciate if you click on each channel and subscribe and like. We're kind of far behind with some of the subscriptions and likes and all that, but it would be great if you could do that. This is probably on the cost of living channel right here. So check out all our channels. And look, before I say goodbye, look who just wandered up. Look who just wandered up. Here she is. She's so pretty. She's so beautiful. There she is. It's the Filipina. See you in the next video.